Respect almost never disappears in one big moment. It usually does not vanish because of one single fight. It does not always change overnight. There is not always a clear betrayal, a huge mistake, or an obvious scene. Most of the time, it starts leaving in small things. In the way people interrupt you, in the way they answer you, in the tone they use with you, in the things they would not have dared to do before, but now do naturally. And the most uncomfortable part is this. A lot of the time you notice it, but you cannot tell exactly when everything changed. You just feel that something is no longer the same. Someone who used to treat you carefully now corrects you in front of others. Someone who used to listen now cuts you off halfway through. Someone who used to measure their words now takes liberties they did not take before. And then the question appears, why does this happen? Why do some people start treating you differently? Why do they become looser with you, test you more, dismiss you more, or take you less seriously? In this video, we are going to look at why some people start losing respect for you, what signs give it away, and what dynamics make it possible. Because once you understand how respect starts to fade, a lot of things stop feeling random. The first thing to break is a very common idea. People think respect is only lost when you do something serious, when you fail badly, when you get openly humiliated, when you become obviously weak. But that is not always how it works. A lot of the time, respect does not drop because of one major fall. It drops because of an accumulation of small readings. People watch how firmly you stand by what you say, how quickly you change to avoid discomfort, how much you tolerate, how often you correct yourself around them, how badly you need to be liked, and how much space you are willing to give up to keep harmony. And here is what matters. Respect is not built only through what you say. It is also built through what you allow, what you hold, and the way you occupy your place. That is why some people say very little, and still others measure themselves around them. And some people do a lot, talk a lot, help a lot, but little by little, they stop being taken seriously. Not because they have no value, but because something in the dynamics started teaching others that they can push more with them. And when that happens once, it may just be a detail. But when it starts repeating, you are no longer looking at an isolated moment. You are looking at a social reading in formation. One of the most common reasons some people start losing respect for you is because they learn that with you, there is no real cost. And that may sound harsh, but it matters to understand it well. It does not mean you cause the disrespect. It means certain people quickly observe how far they can move without meeting real resistance. They start with small things, a comment that is out of place, a joke that makes you uncomfortable, an interruption, an unnecessary correction, a small act of disrespect. And if that happens, and you laugh to avoid tension, justify it, minimize it, swallow it, or act like it does not matter when it actually did, the other person receives information. Not theory, practical information. They learn that with you, they can go a little further, then a little further, then a little further. That is how many dynamics change without anyone announcing it. Not through one huge offense, through repeated small concessions.
because respect also moves through habit. People get used to the place you occupy in the interaction. If that place starts shrinking, if you begin lowering the volume of what bothers you, if you adapt too quickly to avoid friction, then some people read that as permission. And not everyone will do that. But the ones who do think this way will notice it very quickly.
Another reason some people start losing respect for you is because they see you as too available to protect the other person's comfort. And this happens more often than people think. There are people who explain too much, justify themselves too much, soften everything they say, apologize too early, adjust their posture so they do not look intense, pull back as soon as tension appears. And while all of that can look like politeness, sometimes it also communicates something else. It communicates that protecting the other person's comfort matters more than protecting your own position. And that changes the reading. Because when someone notices that you will always be the first one to soften, they stop regulating themselves in the same way. They begin speaking to you with more freedom, with more looseness, with less care. Not necessarily because they hate you, sometimes simply because they understand that the dynamic allows it. And this is where many people get confused. They think they are being mature, patient, reasonable. And yes, sometimes they are. But if you are always the one absorbing, adjusting, lowering your tone, understanding, swallowing things, then the other person does not learn respect. They learn comfort. And comfort is not respect. In fact, sometimes it is the opposite. Because when someone gets used to you always carrying the emotional adjustment of the relationship, they stop seeing you as a presence that needs to be treated with care. And they start seeing you as a presence that will always adapt.
So, how do you notice that respect is dropping? Not always through one major offense. A lot of the time, it shows up in these signs. First sign, people interrupt you more. They do not wait the same way. They do not let you finish. They no longer feel your space deserves the same level of care. Second sign, they correct you more easily. Not because they want to help you, but because correcting you no longer feels costly. Third sign, they make jokes with you that they did not make before. Small, light jokes that slowly place you lower. Fourth sign, they ask for your opinion less. Your word starts losing weight in the dynamic.
Quinto sinal. They test your boundaries through small things. They change agreements. They show up late. They downplay what you said. They take new liberties. Sixth sign. Your discomfort no longer changes the atmosphere. Before, if something bothered you, there was some correction. Now, even when it is noticeable, the interaction keeps moving as if nothing happened. And this one matters a lot. When someone starts losing respect for you, they often do not become brutal. They become looser with you, more free, more invasive, more relaxed about speaking badly to you, testing you, dismissing you, or positioning themselves above you. That is what so many people take too long to recognize. People do not always disrespect you by attacking you. Sometimes they disrespect you by losing care around you.
Now, there is an uncomfortable but necessary part. Not everything is solved by acting stronger. This is not about becoming hard, aggressive, or dominant. Because many people, when they notice a loss of respect, move toward the wrong extreme. They think, then I need to impose myself. Then I need to become colder. Then I need to answer more harshly. But no. Respect that comes from fear is not respect. It is tension. And we are not talking about controlling other people. We are talking about stopping the pattern that teaches them they can lower the standard too much with you. That difference matters. One thing is becoming hostile so people do not push you. A very different thing is stopping the habit of lowering yourself just to maintain relationships that wear you down. So, what actually changes this dynamic? First, detect the first movement, not the 10th. Because by the time people are already treating you very differently, the pattern has often been building for a while. The useful question is not only, how do I get respect back? The more intelligent question is, at what point did I start teaching people that they can go too far with me? And that forces you to look at small moments. Where did you laugh at something you did not like? Where did you keep moving normally after a lack of respect you clearly noticed? Where did you over-explain yourself? Where did you adjust too quickly to make sure the other person would not feel uncomfortable? Second, do not over-explain your value. People who have already started lowering you in the dynamic often do not need more explanations from you. They need a different signal. Not a big scene. A signal that not everything is fine. That not everything passes. That not everything gets absorbed so easily. Third, learn to hold discomfort without rushing to repair it. This point is crucial. When something bothers you and you name it, many people immediately feel the urge to fix the atmosphere fast. They smile, they justify themselves, they soften what they said. They rush to show that everything is fine. And there, once again, the message changes. Instead of holding your position, you start protecting the other person from the discomfort they created, and that almost never improves respect. At the beginning of this video, the question was, why do some people start treating you differently? Now you can see it more clearly. They do not always stop respecting you because their true nature came out. A lot of the time, they change because the dynamic taught them that with you, they can push more, care less, and take up more space without real consequence. And that does not mean you need to harden yourself. It means you need to become clearer, more coherent, more aware of what you allow, more attentive to the pattern, not just the episode. Because respect is rarely lost in one big explosion. It is usually eroded in small things. In every moment you swallow as if it does not matter. In every adjustment you make to avoid discomfort. In every boundary you notice but do not hold. And this is the final idea I want to leave with you. People do not only learn who you are through what you say, they also learn how to treat you through what you tolerate without correcting. And once you understand that, you start seeing much earlier the moment when respect begins to drop. If you want to keep learning how to detect these dynamics before it is too late, subscribe to Patterns of Power.